Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Studio, the official podcast of Alamo City Studios. I'm your host, Corina Laila, and I'm here with
Nayahna Trevino.
This is one of my girlies that I met about a year or two ago. We met at a girlfriend social club event, a girly event, and now we're two peas in a pod, and we're just gonna have a conversation about all things creative and what she can possibly accumulate in Alamo City Studios too. So, Nebe, tell me a little bit about your origin story. Let's just chit chat.
Okay. Well, my name is Nayahna Trevino, and I am a content creator, model, and pageant title holder as Miss Alamo Heights Latina. Thank you. And I started doing social media about 2 years ago in 2023. It started off as a New Year's resolution. I had been going through a lot of stuff my first year of college, and I just felt super lost in where I was, and I just didn't feel like myself at all. And I'd always wanted to do social media. I was always super obsessed with like YouTube videos and vlogs in high school.
Same.
And always watching like college vlogs. So I always loved the idea of documenting, especially your college experience. So I started social media as like a New Year's resolution, and I took it very serious. I was very intentional with everything that I was doing, and I did research on how to be a content creator. There's plenty of resources online that help you, and it's so fun because it's not, a lot of people say don't be too intentional and like just, be yourself, which I completely agree. Some things just like fall into your lap, but sometimes things you need to genuinely be intentional, plan out, work for. And that's what I did, and I was super excited. I remember I also never wore my curly hair. I'm not even wearing my curly hair. But I wear my curly hair all the time, and the reason why I bring that up is because I remember one of the first pieces of content that I had that went viral was like curly hair content and beauty. And I remember I went to the store with my parents, and I bought a bunch of curly hair products. And my dad was like, that is a waste of money. He was like, it's such a waste of money. You never wear your hair natural for longer than a month. Like, you're not even going to use any of this. And I was like, no, Dad, this is an investment. And so I literally started doing hair care videos. And that's my first piece of content that took off. To this day, I've still never buy my own curly hair products just from just from everything that I do. And so that's probably what I got into first, was beauty. But I really didn't want to like single myself into one box. I wanted to do just everything that's important to me. And so I started doing social media, I started taking it very seriously. And into that, that summer, I got noticed by Models of Texas, and I went to my first casting that summer. So after that, then modeling picked up, which I'm so grateful, especially for Models of Texas. They are my sponsors for the Miss Texas Latina pageant. So shout out Models of Texas. But they were a huge help in being a catalyst into my modeling journey. And once I did that, I did social media for a year, and I realized that I wanted to help other people as well. And I wanted other people to help especially college age content creators, because a lot of people, sometimes they do gain the views and they do gain the traction, but they don't know what to do with it. They're like, okay, now what? And that's where you can run into, like, you could have a lot of views, but you don't get a lot of brand collaborations, or brands don't notice you. And so I wanted to help out with that. So I started a club at my university called the Influencer Club. I am the founder and president, and that's another organization I'm extremely proud of. And I started that in the beginning of 2024, and that picked up. And then that same spring is when I entered my first pageant. I entered the Miss San Antonio USA pageant, and that was my first pageant as an adult. I did pageants when I was younger, so I always knew that I was gonna circle back. Like, I always knew that. I love pageants. I love pageants because of they are such significant women. They don't put themselves into one singular box of just beauty. They are pillars in their community. They are advocates for what they believe in, and they're hardworking individuals. and they are just so unique in their own way. They truly represent where they come from, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm just very excited to get into pageantry, and I feel like modeling, social media, all just came together. And I'm still in college. I go to A&M San Antonio. I major in political science and legal studies, and I'm studying to be an immigration lawyer. So all of that just culminated together for me, and pageantry really just like pulled it all together, everything that I'm interested in. And yeah, it all circled all the way till now. I am now currently running in my second pageant. It's gonna be my first state pageant. So I'm extremely excited, and that's how I got here today.
I love that. Yeah, you summed it up like if I was a stranger. But yeah, no, one of the pieces of key points that I wanted to point out was your influencer club. So you, with that being said, is it exclusive to only students only, like only university, your A&M University?
Yes. So sadly, it is only exclusive to A&M students only. But what I've loved about the Influencer Club is that I've probably only seen one other organization, and I think it's at Berkeley or it's in an LA university, where that was the only other time I've seen an organization. They're called Reach, and I've actually worked with them as well. I reached out to them when I first was creating the Influencer Club, but other than that, there was nothing like that in San Antonio, even in Texas, that had organizations that were focusing on social media for college students. And so it is, because it's a university organization, it is exclusive to A&M students. I still abide by the same regulations from my student life organization at my university. But what's been so great is that since I've created the Influencer Club, which is almost 2 years, by next year, by January, it'll be 2 years, is that I get DMs to this day of girls, guys telling me that they've created their own social media club at their university, and they wanted tips on how I got started. So even though it's been exclusive to my university, it's been able to influence at different universities, which that's the whole point.
Right.
I want that at every university.
That's in the name.
Exactly.
The club.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been great to even be able to influence that. But yeah.
But what really caught my eye is you managing everything, you hosting your own events, you just generating your own like community basically. So with that being said, that's why I kind of added in like something that you can bring or kind of asset with Alamo City Studios. But yeah, that's something that we're kind of like talking about, or Nay and I have been kind of chit-chatting about on our back end, is maybe her having an event here, hosting an event here at Alamo City Studios. I think that ACS generates in what you kind of go for.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I admire your just your work ethic, your whole just everything. I admire you. But yeah, now let's talk about you and your day to day. How does a day in the life of you look like?
So, as much as I am a planner and everything in my life is very much intentional and meticulous, sometimes life is not planned out or meticulous at all. So I really just play things by ear. It really depends. During the summer is very much where I play it by ear, but during the rest of the year, it's depending on the day. If it's a school day, I wake up at like 5 a.m., get ready, go to my university, which is sadly, I live in San Antonio, and it's still in my university in San Antonio, but it's still an hour away. So I go to my university, I stay there all day. My school days, I stay there all day. I work with my influencer club, I work with my officers, study. I'm very devoted to my studies. And whenever I'm not on campus, usually my campus days are devoted to just my campus life. In between, I'll do like sometimes when I'm in between classes or anything like that, I'll work on social media stuff. But whenever I'm not doing that and I'm at home, I'm still up early in the morning to work out. I'm very devoted to my fitness as well. I love to run. I go on long distance runs. And then I'll get into editing, I'll get into homework, I'll get into emails, meetings, Zooms, all of that. So just knocking out everything I can. I always make it a priority to write out my goals for the day and just knock out as much as possible. I always try to write at least 3 to 5 and knock out 3 for sure that day. So every day, like I have certain goals that I need to do, and I just try to knock out as much as possible. And by the end of the day, I'm hoping that, I feel accomplished. So yeah, and whenever it's just my fitness time is usually my me time. Like when on my off times, I also like to read. But I'm always editing. I feel like I'm always glued to my phone editing or planning something out or emailing or applying for whatever brand collaboration. I'm just in my emails constantly.
What is your time frame? Like, I know you said that you're always editing, and whenever I was out and about with Nadia, she told me the same thing. She's like, I don't have any social life. I'm literally just glued to my phone all the time. I'm just always editing. And so with that being said, like, do you, when you film something, like let's say today after our tour, are you, as soon as you get home, are you going to edit it? And then like, that's what you're...
So I think we've discussed this before. I cannot hold off. Like once I'm in an event, right after I'm editing, right after, whether that's pictures, whether that's videos, I'm putting something together. I'm trying to get more in the habit of, I used to be a lot of people will tell me that, like, I will always say, starting social media is hard and scary. I've never shied away and said that it's not hard and scary. It is hard and scary. One thing that it took me the longest time, even like 2-3 years into social media, is doing voiceovers or in front of the camera talking. It was so hard for me just because I also, like, we all got families, we all got friends.
Yeah.
Committing to social media means you have to do it in front of your friends and family. It means that, like, which you should feel most comfortable. Oddly enough, that was always something that I was like, oh my gosh, my family's gonna hear me doing my voiceover voice. Like, but that's the commitment to social media, is that you have to do it anytime, anywhere. That's what's the great thing about social media, is you can do it anytime, anywhere, but it's also you have to do it anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, and then that I can kind of relate in that sense because of coming from a Hispanic family. They're like, look at Laila, like, look, no, she's over here on the river walk, like, come on,
okay,
over here on the rooftop,
exactly.
Okay, Hollywood, that's the one.
My dad, like, is my biggest. He's a big supporter of mine, but he's also somebody who humbles me the most. My mom is my biggest fan, for sure. She will fan me out. She will be like, yes, do that. That's what I love about my mom. She's never made me feel uncomfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable doing it around my mom. My brother, my dad, absolutely. They're the ones that are looking at me like, who does she think she is? Right. It's all love, because I'm the same way with them. It's just like, they're boys, like, especially boys. Like, it's hard.
Okay, so I know, well, me just knowing you, you were born in West Texas, and then you moved to San Antonio when you were how old?
I believe I was 9.
9, okay. And so with that, you are a San Antonio girly. Like, you hold us down. Like, and that's coming from me, born and raised here. But yeah, so the way I found you was on my For You page. And that's, I told you, when you went to Austin, when you did the Airbnb with your group of friends. But yeah, that's how I noticed you. And then I stalked your page, like any normal girl would, stalk your page. And then saw that you really do try to put local spots on in San Antonio. So with that being said, how has your love for San Antonio generated? How has it came about? And how are you gonna keep pursuing that? Like, do you wish to like move elsewhere? Are you gonna keep? Is San Antonio always gonna be home?
I love that question because I'm still very proud to be from West Texas. Absolutely. I still tell people I'm from from West Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was little, we would always, I believe like my first trip was when I was super little, and we did all the touristy spots like Riverwalk and La Cantera and SeaWorld and all that. And I was just in love with it. I come from a very small town where there's not much to do. So whenever I came to here, it was like Disney World. It was so wow. And even after that, I remember I stopped having my birthdays in Odessa and I started having them in San Antonio. And so whenever I was 9 and my dad told me that we were moving there, most kids are so sad to get ripped out of their school and go somewhere. My bags were packed and ready to go. I was ready.
Backpack.
I was like, let's go. And I remember we lived in in the very beginning, I had stayed at my I only have one family member here, is my Tío Nico, and we stayed with him for a while, and then we also stayed in a hotel before we can move. So I remember like being in a hotel for 2 weeks, and I was thinking like, I'm living the sweet life of Zach and Cody right now. Like, I truly thought my life was such a movie. And even though like that's how it was, I did have a hard time adjusting, just because it was like the end of the year. I remember spring, it was end of the year, and I was having a hard time like adjusting. But everybody knows, if you're from San Antonio, around spring is fiesta time. So that's really when my love for San Antonio just settled, because when I found out that like San Antonio parties for 10 days and you get a chicken on a stick and a flower crown, I was sold. I was so sold.
Oh, that's funny.
I like was because like I'm like, who else does that? And so I
seriously though, seriously, like
who else
does
that? And so I was just in love with San Antonio, and my love for it just grows and grows. And I love that that's how that you found me, is through like finding out like little spots that I do, whether that's in San Antonio or around Texas. Because like I said, I started off with beauty, but what really took my page off was doing spots in San Antonio.
Same.
So that's really where it's at, truly. I feel like that's a lot of people always will look at it from a lack mindset of like, oh, I live in San Antonio, like there's nothing to do here. What could I even film about? It's like, you live in San Antonio, you could film San Antonio, because nobody knows what is there to do in San Antonio. So it's, you have to like think about it in that way and take advantage of what you do have. And I've never looked at San Antonio as a place that lacks. So I've always, like I said, like when I moved here, I thought it was a dream come true, and it still is to me. If anything, it's just gotten better. And so I absolutely love it. I'm always going to represent so hard. I am always going to mention how much I love San Antonio. A lot of people will try to, talk down on San Antonio, and I'm like, no, not my baby. Like that, it's my baby. And I'm always going to love it. I don't see myself living here for the rest of my life, I will say. But that is because that if I felt that way moving from Odessa to San Antonio, I know I'm going to feel that way about other places as well. And I do have a very Dora the Explorer mindset. So I know there's so much out there in the world. I couldn't limit myself. But best believe San Antonio is always going to be mentioned in that conversation. And when I do go to other places, it's never going to be something I forget about. I think it's a great place to grow up in. I think it's a great place to raise family in. Great place to go to college. It's a college city. It's another reason why we were so blessed to move here, is to have the opportunities that I've had. I would have never had them where I used to live. So it's always going to be in my heart, definitely.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, as a little girl, I'm born and raised here, so this is all I knew. My family, we would take annual trips on Carnival cruises, and we'd go and go sailing through the Gulf of Mexico or whatever, and I'd see Bahamas or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I live in San Antonio, like, But at that age, I still loved our skyline, even though it's so little. No buildings can go any higher than the Tower of America. Like,
and the shadow can't cast in front of the Alamo.
Really?
I just learned that too. That's the reason why we don't have a big skyline.
That's crazy.
So I do think that's crazy, but when you find that out, it's like you have to respect it.
Yeah,
you just have to.
Yeah, but I've always admired our skyline. Like, just everything that has to do with my hometown, you know, like I really do admire it. And now that there's businesses that are coming here, celebrities that are coming here, festivals,
yeah, this year's been a big year for
right,
San Antonio.
Dude, Ulta Beauty,
Ulta Beauty,
the festival. Come on,
March
please.
Madness.
Yes, dude.
Just so many celebrities are here. Wemby. I'm like,
yes.
all of these things.
Yes.
They've been so good to us. That's why I think you saw it where somebody had commented on one of my posts. I think it was about when we went to the Disco al Fresco, and somebody had commented, "Is like, is it just me? Are the women in San Antonio getting finer? The places are getting cooler. Like, it's just getting better." And I'm like,
dude, seriously, like,
I'm like, that's right. No, I truly do believe it's just getting better and better. Just like how people didn't always look at, like, Austin's always been cool, but like now it's like the new LA. And so I think San Antonio is going to be like that, but it's not going to be like LA. It's not going to be like Miami, and it's not going to be like New York. It's going to be still San Antonio.
Right.
But it's going to be San Antonio.
Right,
so
exactly.
I truly believe that.
Same. So I have a question for you. What is your next passion project?
Oh, that's so good. So there's a million things I want to do. I'm always going to be in pursuit of something. I genuinely believe that. The fact that I've even been able to, in the last 2 years only, I've been able to do social media modeling and pageantry is so crazy to me. But I do believe that I'm going to probably be more in pursuit of my lifelong career of being an immigration lawyer. I think that at the end of the day, everything I do does circle back to that. Everything I do, there's a main goal, there's a main focus, and I'm very passionate about immigration rights. I come from an immigrant family. My mother's from Chihuahua, Mexico, so that's always going to be my passion, is helping families that are like mine. I knew I wanted to be an immigration lawyer when my mother was at her citizenship ceremony when I was 17. And I got to skip school for the day, so I was already excited about that. And so I went, and I just saw so many people from so many different backgrounds and just from so many different places, families of so many sizes, and I was like, I want to put people in this room. Like, I knew I wanted to be the reason why people were in that room. And you have to admire somebody who's willing to go through all these lengths just to support themselves and their families and their future generations. Like, it's truly something that I think it's like one of the greatest acts of love somebody can do. So I have to be a part of that. And so that's why I love pageantry. I'm able to advocate for what I believe in. And I think I'm always going to be in pursuit of that. And I've always wanted to have my own nonprofit organization. That is something that like is up there for me. Pageantry was up there for me. Modeling's up there for me. But that's something that I see being, along with being an immigration attorney, is having my own nonprofit organization. So for immigrants and refugees. So that's always going to be a project. I don't know if it's going to be, like, I think about it all the time. I don't know if it's going to be within the next year. I don't know if it's going to be in the next 5 years. Si Dios quiere, wherever God leads me, I will go. But that's something that's going to definitely be a goal of mine, is to have my own nonprofit organization.
I love that. And with that being said, you have widened my mind in every aspect. You know, I've never put myself in a circle with a like-minded mindset like you. You have very optimistic goals. You have a very dreamer's mindset, but you are very realistic at the same time. I mean, you're going to be an immigration lawyer, you know. But you have really widened my span on just like how I think, how I view the world, and you know, how, like, there's other people that are literally struggling that I was sheltered from is what I'm trying to say. Right. But yeah, you've opened my perspective on things like that. So that's another reason why I admire you. So another point that I wanted to make is that you're not just a pageant girl. You're not just a social media, an influencer and this and that. You also work too, and you work for HEB.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about
HEB.
shout out HEB. I think I brought up HEB in the past like 2 episodes already. Seriously,
They're gonna think you're sponsored.
No, seriously, I think I brought them up just because like they've either said like they worked with HEB or like they got sponsored by Mark got sponsored by HEB or like worked with HEB when he first and I was like, dude,
all the baddies work at HEB. You worked at HEB.
I worked at HEB.
One of my pageant friends / mentors, Francie Milan, she's worked at HEB,
Wow.
and we were like I remember when I first met her, we were bonding over like making tortillas like in their bakery, and
Dude,
I was like,
I worked in bakery for like a week, and then after that, then I was like, yeah, no, let me move around.
No, that is so. And like she was like, nobody gets the struggle of making tortillas.
Yeah, dude,
it's really
heavy.
They light on fire like out of nowhere. Oh my gosh,
dude,
like
that's funny.
it's crazy, but yeah, that's so funny. They're really gonna think you're sponsored. Which if y'all do want to,
we're trying.
If you do want to sponsor.
But yeah, so tell me, like, you still work at HEB? Are you still like thinking about working there until you finally get financially set, or what is that?
Yeah, so I started working at HEB like my first month of college, and that has been, I love HEB. I genuinely, they're such a great company. I will tell people, like, there's certain struggles I have, like if I'm pushing carts in the heat or if I'm, certain customer service issues. But at the end of the day, I'm like working at a grocery store is working at a grocery store. But
Exactly.
it is literally, they have supported me through everything. I swear, I don't think there's any other job that could have supported me like how they have. Because like I just said, I do a lot. I do a lot of things. I have a very busy schedule. I'm a very busy girl. And a lot of people don't know that I work at HEB. I feel like a lot of people think that I am not employed, and so that I don't get a regular paycheck. But I've been working there since day one, and they've been my longest relationship. And so, they're the love of my life. I feel like even when I stop working there, I'm still gonna support and love, because they're also just like a great company with great values. I feel like they represent Texas so well. It's just and they support the Hispanic community, and they're the first ones there when natural disaster hits. Like it is, they're just genuinely so admirable. But yeah, even like at a small store level, I straight up had told, I remember when I first started working there, I already had another job at SeaWorld, but it was a seasonal position. But I told my manager, and my dad thought that was like a bad idea, because he's like, oh, most people don't like it when you work at 2 places.
Right.
Or they don't like it if you have like a busy schedule or whatever. Like some of them don't like college students because of their schedule. But no, they have literally worked with me through everything. They've been okay with me working other jobs. They've been okay with me, scheduling in advance. And they've just been there through everything with me. And so I love them. They're great. They like I said, in September, I worked there for 4 years. So
wow, you surpassed me, dude. I think I left at like 3.5.
Yeah. Oh, there's another content creator. I think her name's Kaylee, the one who
Kaylee, yes.
She also,
she's coming on the pod too.
And you're gonna bring her. She I think has worked there longer than me. I think she worked there for like 6 or 7 years. Yeah, so she's up there too. I'm telling you. And then
the same thing. One thing that I wanted to add is HEB was my first commercial. So I was a background extra in a HEB commercial, and that was my first ever time on set. So shout out to HEB. I have nothing bad to say about HEB. I love them.
I have nothing bad to say at all.
But yeah, so I just wanted to point that out, because I mean, you're a busy bee. Like you're going everywhere. You're doing everything and anything. And so with that, like, you come back on your story or you come back on TikTok, and then you're in your HEB uniform. And then, then it's like a reality check, and it's like, hey, no, I'm still a real person. I'm still, working towards my goals. Exactly.
It's so funny because, you never know what's going to hit on TikTok and what's going to gain traction.
Yeah.
That was also one of my first big viral videos, was actually being in my HEB uniform. I think I made a remark, because I remember people would always tell me, they would always make the remark that like, oh, pretty girls work at HEB, right? So I played into that joke, and I think I made a TikTok like that. and it got like 300K views, and all of a sudden all my coworkers knew I did TikTok. So I was getting approached at work about it, and
How is that though at work? So when you go around, when you go back to work, like how is that?
It's so funny because there's some people there that I worked with them since day one, so they know what I do.
Okay.
I'm not one to bring up my like social media modeling and stuff like that unless somebody brings it up to me. But I do think it's really funny when if they do follow me on social media, and I come, like, I do whatever I do, because sometimes I'll be at an influencer event that morning, clock in, HEB later. Sometimes I'll be at HEB in the morning, go out that night. Whatever the case is, it's usually like I'm back to the grind. And sometimes my coworkers will be like, "How are you here?" Like, they're like, "I just saw your story. You were just here." And sometimes like, I'm just like, I gotta be here. Like, I gotta clock in. I still have a job, because sometimes my coworkers who don't have me on social media, they will be like, "You're never here," or like, "You're not here that often," if I'm going through a busy period of time. And then the ones that do have me on there, they're like, "How are you here?" Like, and so it's really funny for people to see the contrast. One of my managers, she's not my manager anymore, but she was my manager for the majority of the time I worked there. She also even sponsored me my last pageant, and she was so supportive of my pageantry, and like, she loved hearing about it. And so that's what I'm saying, like, there's great people, even like at a local like store level. HEB is just great people. And so it is really funny to see like the differences. But either way, sometimes my social media friends don't know I work HEB, sometimes my HEB friends don't know, but I don't shy away from either one. I'm proud of both. So yeah.
Nice. I feel like I got out of HEB when social media wasn't really accepted, that much. So I feel like I was already working with Claudia at the time, working for my agency, and it wasn't really, I think I said it on my first ever podcast that I was on. I saw myself on the TV in the break room, and I gasped. When I gasped, there was a guy in there, and he was like, "Why did you gasp?" And then so I was like, "Oh, I just saw myself on the TV." And then he's like, "Well, if you're on the TV, why are you here?" And so with that, I got taken aback. And so with that, I'm like, so then my mental, when I started like feeling down on myself, whatever, I'm like, why am I doing 40 hours a week here at HEB when I'm trying to do this, or when I could be focusing on this? And it's just a whole lot of mental things or whatever, but Godspeed.
Exactly. I genuinely do feel like when I'm having moments in life where I don't know where I'm supposed to be, God always talks to me through strangers or conversations. Like, I'll be really thinking about this stuff and people will bring it up. And I've had those moments like in HEB. I used to feel really down on myself too. I used to have that exact same thought of like, oh my gosh, like, I'm still working here. Like, if I did better on social media, I wouldn't have to work here, and da-da-da. But for one, I think, it's romanticizing the come up story. Like, like you're grinding it out. That's what your 20s are for, is just picking up a bunch of jobs that you feel like you're better than, but you're really not. Like, and so that's the part of the storyline. And so I have had moments and it'll be around the times where there's also been times where I've doubted myself in social media and modeling, and I'm like, am I even like model looking to be a model, or am I even pageant looking to be a pageant girl? And so I've had those moments as well. And there's been times where like, because I have a lot of like older elderly people at my store, and they're just the sweetest people ever. And a lot of them are regulars. And so sometimes I'll have moments where, like, I remember one time, this older lady had saw me. She was like, "You're not supposed to be here." And I thought she was like genuinely like trying to press me or something. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And she was like, "You're supposed to be on a runway modeling." And so oh my gosh, that made my heart so warm. She has no idea that I'm trying to pursue modeling, but she was just trying to pay me a compliment. There's been times where, this wasn't at HEB, but I remember I was on vacation, and I think I had like a really mad face, and a stranger, he was probably just trying to be nice, but he was like, like, don't, like, something about, like, don't be so sad, Miss Universe. And that really made my whole day, because it's like, you know, a lot of people like pay you compliments, but when they're so tailored to what you're
Right.
going through in life, it's like, wow, and they don't even know. That's how I know God's like trying to like push me and like encourage me, because there's been times where at work where I'm having a bad day, or I'm questioning where I am in life, and strangers will pay me that compliment. And it really does go a long way. Sometimes they'll ask me what I do. They always ask me like what I do in school. Sometimes they'll ask me, they're like, "Are you still in high school, sweetie?" And so I'm like, "No, I'm in the middle of college." And so they'll ask me what I'm doing, and they'll ask like what I want to do, and I tell them, and they're very encouraging, very sweet. So it's like moments like that where if I'm ever questioning where I am, I know God has his way of talking to me and putting strangers and people in my life and just having these conversations. So
Exactly.
I used to feel that way too. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, like, why am I here? Da, da, da. But you really just got to romanticize everything. That's the key to everything. If you always think about what you're lacking in life, it's never going to be enough. It really isn't. So I see HEB as a blessing. They're the only job that could have provided me this opportunity. So we all have those moments, but at the end of the day, they've been super supportive and given me everything that I needed to succeed. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
One last question, and then we will wrap up our podcast for today.
Perfect.
How do you navigate around those speed bumps? So yes, you talked about your beliefs, but on a day where you really you feel low, you know, let's say you're just a young girl that's 21, you know, just trying to make it in or whatever, how would you tell her to navigate herself around that speed bump?
That's such a good question. Honestly, like I said, I'm always going back to God. God's always got me through every situation. But I always say it's, you know, it's half God, it's also half you. It's what you bring to the table. He can only do so much. Like you have to bring something that he can give to you. But in that aspect, I would say that, like, honestly, you have to like yourself. You have to genuinely not just love yourself, but like yourself. If you don't like yourself, you're not gonna like anything you do, and you're not gonna like anything that comes out of you. Just truly spending that time with yourself and like genuinely just like yourself, because there's been times where people tell me they're like, "Oh, I don't want to, like, I'm too scared to post on social media," and you know, da da da. But I'm like, I have those moments too where I'm afraid to post on social media. Even to this day, I'm like, do I really want to post this? But it's because I don't have pride and I didn't put enough work into it. When I started putting genuine pride into my work and genuinely liking what I do and liking what I put out, that's when everything just came into play. It made me get excited, and it made me like have this love. It's like a crush. It's like, oh my gosh,
You're
I can't wait to
proud,
do
yeah.
this. Yes, I can't wait to see my crush. It's the same way. I can't wait to work on this project. And so, yeah, you have to genuinely, like, you have to have a crush on yourself. You have to crush on your work. You have to have this, you know, fuzzy feeling about yourself, because nobody will have that about you. Nobody is going to like you or give you that sensation. You have to give it to yourself. So genuinely just spend time with yourself, like have hobbies. I'm very big on passion projects and hobbies, because, you know, of course your main goal at hand, always focus on that and your main career, but you don't always have to do things that center around your career. You may be pursuing the medical field, but maybe you like knitting, like, or maybe
Right.
maybe like ice skating. I don't know, like whatever floats your boat, do it. Like really, truly just fall in love with your life, romanticize your life, and like yourself, and really just it all culminates together. You'll start to genuinely feel like you lack nothing if you are always filling your own cup. So it's as simple as like starting there. Just start with the basic stuff. Don't try to, you know, pursue these big things and you don't even have faith in yourself. You don't even like yourself. You don't have a sense of direction, and you're wondering where it's all stemming from. you need to spend time with yourself, because I used to, when I was in high school, I feel like I truly didn't like myself. Even though people might say like, oh, you were so confident back then and da da da. It's like I didn't have that like genuine like for myself. And once college is when I genuinely feel like I started liking myself and doing things for me and doing things for my community. In turn, when I started doing things for me, I did things for other people. And I started serving my community and genuinely wanting to help other people. But you can't help other people unless you help yourself and genuinely have that love for yourself.
Thank you. I literally feel like sometimes you're my twin. You're my twin flame in a different way. Don't make me cry. Okay. But anyways, thank you so much for having a conversation with me here in the pod. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you love it?
No, I literally love it so much. I'm definitely coming back. I definitely will. I was just telling you before this, she was giving me a tour and I was like, wow, this place is so cool. And it's exactly like going back to the San Antonio conversation, like there's places in San Antonio. San Antonio is one of those places that it's not flashy right in front of your face. Things are not just right there on the street that you can just pull into. You have to genuinely dig and you genuinely have to search. And I've known about Alamo City Studios, but I've never visited. And so it's even better than what it looks like online. Like you make it look amazing online, by the way. I love the social media. Yes, I absolutely love it. But even being in person, it's like, wow. And and I'm like, wow, this is what you post about. I'm like, oh my God, it's so nice. It's all you. So yeah, I love it. It's such a great experience. I loved getting a tour. And yeah, whenever I see crazy, cool, creative places like this, I can see what your mind does, what it does here, because it's doing the same thing to my mind. I'm like, wow.
It's like all my creative juices start flowing. I have so many bright ideas. I have so many, I want to chit chat with everybody. I'm like, where are we going? What are we doing?
What are we doing? Yes.
Seriously.
I see this, I could see what's special about this place is that it's not just for one type of person.
Exactly.
Some studios can be for like just mainly photographers or content creators, but this could be for so many things, for so many different types of people. So I'm excited for the future of this place and your future as well.
Thank you. Likewise, mommy. Well, I'm giving you all of my best luck. Hopefully we can go out there in Houston and support you for your pageantry. But thank you again for being here, having a one-on-one conversation with me here in the pod.
By the way, this is like the way me and Laila chat all the time.
No, like, seriously, we can keep going, but I'm like, y'all are gonna start getting annoyed. No, but thank you again for just being here.
Of course.
But thank you guys for also sharing your time with us. We will see you in the studio a little later. Bye.